VanMoof and I wanted one for a while, but I didn't want to fork out 2,000 euros. So I bought the cheapest one I could find in the Netherlands. And this is it. It's a VanMoof electrified S or S1 with all the bells and whistles. It cost me 760 euros. That's about 900 US dollars. A bit pricey, but relatively cheap for an electric VanMoof or any electric bike in general. The question is, was it worth it? Well, let's find out. Before we move on, I've been asked by the producer to ask you to like and subscribe. It makes us happy every time someone subscribes and gets us one step closer to our goal of 1,000 subscribers and ensuring we continue making these videos. Right, back to it. I'll give you some background on VanMoof bikes, but not too much, as I'm assuming you probably already know a bit about them as you're watching this, because you're either looking to buy one or you already have one. So with that, I'll try not to bore you. You probably heard the analogy VanMoof are the Teslas of bikes. That's a fairly appropriate description. They have kind of revolutionized the biking industry with their cool, sleek, fast two-wheelers. And like a Tesla car, a VanMoof bike is packed with tech, maybe a little too much tech. And again, like a Tesla, a VanMoof isn't cheap. And that brings us back to this one. If I'm not mistaken, it's a 2017 model, which means it would have cost about 3,000 euros when new. That's around 3,500 US dollars. So not cheap. It had done about 3,500 kilometers when I bought it. So it cost the previous owner about $1 a kilometer. Not the cheapest way to travel, but he did get around in style, I suppose. Anyway, I got it for 760 euros. He initially wanted 900, came down a bit, enough to make it perhaps the cheapest used electrified VanMoof in the Netherlands at the time of purchase. So was it worth it? Was it a smart move buying a used S1? Should you buy a used S1? Or should you and should I have saved my pennies, bitten the bullet and just got a new one? Got a Flash S3. They've come down to around 2,000 euros now, which is a fairly reasonable price for a bike that appears to pack a lot of punch. I guess we can answer these questions by determining whether or not this one has passed the test of time. Is she past her prime, or does she still represent bang for your buck? Let's find out. I've got the original instruction manual here, so let's go over the specs. First, it says lightweight, 18.4 kilograms, including battery. The battery's built into the frame. I'm assuming it goes along here. That is a slight issue. I would like an option to be able to take the battery out, to take it inside and charge it up inside, rather than having to haul the whole bike inside to power it up. Next, anodized aluminium frame. Speaks for itself, and I guess that contributes to the lightness of the bike. Automatic 2-speed shifting gears. That's a neat feature. Really amazing to have an automatic shifting system on a bike, and you can really feel it. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's certainly a bit of fun. Remote locking system, we'll get to that later. Top speed of 32 kilometers an hour in USA settings. I know you can download an app for the S3, maybe even the S2, to bump up the speed here in Europe to 32 kilometers an hour. We're restricted to around 20 kilometers. I don't know if that's an option with the S1. If someone knows, please enlighten me. Range 50 kilometers full power mode to 120 kilometers on economy mode. Now that is interesting, because I do wonder if it does have that kind of range. I think it seems as though it would be getting pretty close to that on a full charge. That's a big concern. The concern being the battery. When you buy a used bike, is the battery going to be good enough? It's a big concern, because that would perhaps be one of the biggest costs involved with a bike like this. I think it costs around 600 euros to replace the battery on one of these. Next up, we have a 250 to 350 watt front wheel hub motor right here. That seems to be working quite well. Actually, I did just encounter one issue. The motor, the bike, wasn't being powered at all a little bit earlier. It was resolved when I turned it off and on again. Can't explain it. Next point, 420 watt battery integrated into the frame. We've discussed that. Anti-theft tracking using Bluetooth and GSM technologies. And the power boost button on the handlebars. Clearly, the bike isn't perfect. There's a lot of signs of wear and tear. We have the missing piece of the chain guard, a chunk out of the seat. Clearly, it's been dropped or something. We don't know exactly what happened to it. Scratches all over it. Another sign that it's had an incident, and a few other signs of wear. But that's what you get when you buy a used bike. And if it was in mint condition, I'm sure it would have cost a bit more. And to be honest, all the faults I've mentioned there, well, they're mostly cosmetic. Functionality issues, and that brings us back to our Tesla analogy and my concern that there might be a little too much tech packed into this bike. We talked about the battery before, not being able to remove it. Another issue I have is with the boost button. Although it's fun, I do find myself permanently pushing it down. It would be nice if it could be engaged on a full-time basis. That would save my thumb a lot of work. Perhaps my biggest gripe is with this locking system. It's interesting, but a bit annoying. So you thread your lock through something and then plug it into the frame of the bike and the lock engages. That's all good and well, but when you come to unlock your bike, you have to go into the app and push this button and then the boost button, and no, I gotta try it again. Unlock it, it's gone, and then I'm trying to unplug it, but I can't. Okay, let me try again, third time. Okay, let's do this, let's do it. No, yes, got it. And it's like a victory every time you unlock your bike, and it doesn't really fit well with me. There's probably an easier way of doing it. People have probably mastered it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Anyway, I prefer an ordinary lock. But those are fairly minor issues if you look at the grand scheme of things. All in all, it's a pretty good bike. The real test was always going to be, how does it ride? And on that front, it passes with flying colours. I mean, this thing is a blast to ride. You hit that boost button and it takes off. The acceleration is phenomenal. It seems like it hasn't lost any power over the years. I guess I wouldn't really know, but still, this is so much fun. It's me reliving my youth. So proof is in the pudding, and so far this one looks good. It's really changed my perspective on biking. It's a blast to ride. It really is a lot of fun. It's a great bike to have. I do wish I could have gotten a brand new S3, but 2,000 euros is a lot of money, and I think for 760 euros this does represent great value. I think I've made a good choice, but it's early days yet. So far it seems as though the S1, 4 years after it was purchased, has passed the test of time. Anything can happen from here on in. I guess I'll find out over the days, months, years, who knows. Maybe I'll do a follow-up. I don't know. If we get some likes, we get some people subscribing, there's some interest in this video, then we can perhaps do a comparison with an S3, or we could do this one up and see how it turns out after a bit of work. Maybe you could let me know what you want to see, if you liked this or not. Yeah, well, I hope you did like it. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, take care.